Hey, buddy.
I'm just walking by.
You're just walking by?
Do your thing. No, I like to introduce myself.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if I can get everybody to take their seats, we're going to get going here shortly. Get organized.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We have quite the auditorium today. Thank you for coming to the chambers and participating in our meeting. So our meeting will, it says it's going to begin shortly in 7 minutes, but it's going to become quicker than that. As soon as we get everybody kind of, here we go. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient with us this morning. Our fire meeting for the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection ran a little long, but we will call to order the regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for May 16th of 2017. At this time, we have the Honorable Jessica Safraza with us. If she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, I would please. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. All right, Madam Clerk, can I get a roll call, please?
Certainly. Bob Lucy, Chair.
Here.
Marcia Burke-Bigler, Vice Chair.
Here.
Kitty Jung is absent. Vaughn Hartung.
Here.
Jeannie Herman is absent. County Manager John Slaughter.
Present.
Assistant District Attorney Paula Pirelli.
David Wattsville on his behalf here.
Sorry. Thank you, David. And I'm Nancy Parent, Washoe County Clerk. You have a quorum, Mr. Chair?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All right, at this time, we will open public comment. I do have members signed in for public comment at this time, so I will call you down one at a time, and I will queue up the next speaker right behind you. First, I have Mr. George McNally up first, and followed by Mr. Sam Dene.
Mr. Chair, while they are coming up, let me read the
Yes, please.
item.
Could you-
Comment heard under this item is limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the commission agenda. Commission will also hear public comment during individual action items with comment limited to 3 minutes per person, and comments should be made to the commission as a whole.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Mr. McNally.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. My name is George McNally. I am the directing attorney for the Senior Law Project, and just to kind of reconfirm our existence, we are a nonprofit legal aid clinic that is federally funded, and we are here to serve seniors 60 years and older of Washoe County with any legal issues that they may have that does not really overlap with Washoe Legal Services. So I'm here to just make our awareness known. I've been a lawyer for 40 years, but I've only been doing this for about 3, and I really enjoy it. I run into a jerk every now and then, but somebody who feels like they're entitled to it. But we get the job done, and I would also like to compliment Washoe County on the social service staff that works with the seniors here. Those people are phenomenal. They help us get through some really issues, and I just end with the note that there's a housing crisis in this county right now that needs to be addressed. And for example, we had 4 emergency walk-ins Monday morning of people being evicted, seniors, and they have no place to go and they're getting ready to be homeless. So that's an issue y'all need to think about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McNally. Mr. Dene, followed by Ms. Tammy Holtstill.
Sam, DNA. I say DNA because it's the sound of my name, DNA. But I'm also the DNA of Reno government, the heart and soul, body and mind of Reno government. I've been to all of these meetings minus 3 since 1994. I've had more public testimonies than all of the citizens added together. I'm responsible for 92% of the good things about Reno, and I've started to relegate myself to only 30 seconds of self-aggrandizement. That's what somebody told me to do, so that's probably about the end of it. I'm an Air Force Academy graduate. I spent many years flying fighters and bombers defending our nation. Today, we're going to have giving out some proclamations, a whole bunch of them here. Proclamation for something for the month, something for the week, something for the day. And I noticed that, and I don't have time to stay for all of these things. I have other things to do with my life. But I am very happy to see that the listeners, and I'd like that, the listeners, who do a lot of talking too, by the way, the listeners back there, nice smiley face, are getting the listener day. That's great. I know that you're waiting to give Sam a Sam Dene day. No, a Sam Dene month. No, a Sam Dene year. A Sam Dene generation. That's the one they're waiting for. I know, after all these years, I'm going to get one of those. The Sam Dene generation, but they'll probably wait until it's a legacy after I'm long gone. I've been told that when I pass away, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have the largest funeral in the history of Reno. The people who like me and the people who don't like me. I think the latter's going to, nice smiley face back there. At any rate, I'm very proud of this. I've watched Mr. Listener for all these years. He's done a fantastic job for the community, and he does it in a very, it's kind of like Sam, almost as humble as Sam in the way he comports himself about his business. Nice smiley face there, too. And I'm also trying to work on my sarcasm, too. How's that working? At any rate, no, that was true, though. I meant about myself, sarcastic. At any rate, I come down here and I castigate. If there's any one thing that I do justifiably, is I castigate the media mouse wacko freaks over and over again. I cannot castigate them enough, because you've got those wacko freaks, and not the reporters. The reporters, if you look at their wrists, they got scars on their wrists. It's the people up at headquarters who are scared to death of DNA, D-E-H-N-E. Some of those reporters are actually really, really good writers. It's the only problem is they're not allowed to write the truth. Their grammar is okay, their subjects are okay, but they just do not know how to write the truth. I wish they would contact me. No, they can't contact me, then they'd be fired. Anyway, that's all I had to say. I wish I had another 3 minutes, but thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you over there, thank you, and thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Barraza.
Dene.
And nice smiley face over there.
Next, we have Ms. Tammy Holt-Still, followed by Ms. Elise Weatherly.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tammy Holt, still for the record, and still here. Lemon Valley recovery issues to address. Number one, I have noticed the agenda has been missing the vote for approval for waiving the permit fees for the residents in Lemon Valley, which have been yellowed and red tagged. I have noticed that in the past, fees have been waived for places like Hot August Nights, which are generating an income. These families are not generating an income. They are in fact losing income due to neglect from Washoe County and the city of Reno. 2, staff has stated to residents, it's just a matter of time until the HESCO barrier fails. If the staff is concerned, why not assist Mother Nature with the evaporation process, which will also assist with the mosquito issue too. I have given you information last week regarding that type of process. The next thing is number 3. There is an issue addressed about Lemon Valley Drive and the cost of fixing it when the water evaporates. Yes, the city of Reno and Washoe County should work together, but you also have funds from FEMA for the disaster declaration for this. 4, after many attempts, I want to thank you for responding after 54 business days by email of the full disclosure expenditures of the disaster declaration yesterday evening. I look forward to taking a look at it. Number 5, Washoe County has the authority and the ability to assist residents through applying for federal grants. In fact, of the board meetings I have been in and have read, I have personally not seen or heard a directive to the staff to take measures to acquire such grants. Let's see, where are grants? Okay. A good example is the Truckee River Flood Responsibility and the Truckee River Flood Management Agency, which has the grants for raising up the homes. It is for Hidden Valley residents at this time. It would be a good idea to expand it to the Lemon Valley residents. I would also like to remind you about the First Amendment. After last week's information that was put out there during the meeting, it was offensive towards the rights I have as the First Amendment to speak, and I look forward to working with you as Washoe County and seeing you guys do a better job than what you did last week. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I need to note for the record that Ms. Holt still gave me a handout, which I provided to you, and I'll put on the record.
Great, thank you, Madam Clerk. Mrs. Elise Weatherly, followed by Ms. Kathy Branthorst.
Good morning, Elise Weatherly, Washoe County resident. First of all, I do want to say thank you again to you guys for taking these jobs, because I know how hard they must be. A lot of what you have to do for a living here is make decisions, and sometimes I wonder, how do you make your decisions? If we have a one-shoe-fits-all government, how do you make decisions when you have limited resources, including money? Sometimes it's hard to get your attention too. So what I'll tell you is, as a person, as a human being, I have a CD that I came out with. I took the files to a man named Tom Gordon. He works behind the scenes. He doesn't get all the credit for things, but what he did was he took my mess of files and he fixed them. He turned them into something listenable. A lot of times you guys have to make decisions, based on things that the people do behind the scenes. And I was wondering, why am I here today? I wasn't really exactly sure, but I turned around and I saw a person that I used to work with at the El Dorado, a woman of integrity who did her job, and I used to support her and go, you're doing a great job. I looked at her not as a group, not as a corporate entity, but as an individual. And I recognized in her some good things. And guess what? There was an employer in Washoe County that did the same thing. So what I'm going to say is, why did you guys make a decision? I'm going to bring it up again because nobody seems to want to address it. I'm going to mention the name of God because he's so politically incorrect to bring up. I'm going to ask you, why is God dismissed from Jan Evans Youth Center from the chaplaincy position. Once again, why will you guys not let Marvin Neal come back into that facility, who spent 25 years of his life telling those kids the truth and bringing some of those kids out of that pit of darkness and setting them on a path where they are now good citizens of this county? Why has he been dismissed? He's a man of integrity. So we have some good cops and we have some bad cops. We have some good Washoe County employees and we have some bad Washoe County employees. And you guys have to make decisions based on who's doing a good job. Based on what? Fact or feeling? How about discernment? How about allowing you guys to use some discernment to say, this was not a good decision, let's change it, let's fix it. Back in my job, that's what I used to do, is I used to find problems and I used to fix them. And I did a pretty good job at this. But now I'm disregarded here because I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings and be politically incorrect. So I'm asking you point blank, John Slaughter, why don't you reinstate Marvin Neal, a man of integrity, back into his position as chaplain at the Jan Evans Youth Center? Why can we not go back and fix that thing? We have good people, we have bad people, we have good citizens, we have bad citizens. Let's figure out who's doing what for what reason and put them back in there and not make this based on feelings or political correctness or anything else. Let's make some decisions based on what's true. By the way, Dan, Mr. Dene doesn't really represent me. I'm not part of the 3001. We have differing opinions. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Featherway. Next, we have Ms. Kathy Brandhorst, followed by Mr. Danny Cleus.
My name is Kathy Brandhorst, and I'm also the United States President. I just wanted to let you know that it is a really bad place to live. It's not a very good place to live when you have to act in it, and that is robbing banks, that is getting rid of people who know about you, who are actually trying to tell the authorities, the police, the sheriff, the G-men, the United States Secret Service. They're trying to, you're really covering it up. You can't tell us the truth. You have to really tell people that you're a good person. You are not. You don't even belong in our territory for what you do to other people. These people are victims, and they deserve the right to be alive. There's no problem with victims being here. All you have to do is back off and leave them alone. The other problem is that these young children, we have 19 children missing out of our area, because I know that you had lethal injections inside your body, and you need to get rid of the lethal injections by wearing young children's body parts and young children's blood, and their eyes are always poked out of their heads, and that is very painful for them to go through. Chopped heads has been showing up again in our territory, our area, and this needs to be stopped. I also know that the people who are taking over our area are all on death row, and they do not live there. They don't have a place to live at all. But they will terrorize everybody in their homes. I had a man standing over me. I did not see him at all. He wasn't even visible at the time, but he said, "I'm going to use an electric chainsaw and chop you up." I just laid down, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I just had a headache. But when I scratched my head, I did have a little bit of blood going through my nails, my fingernails. And I just wanted to let you know, they did have to put me to get back together, but now we've got the proof that this man needs to be destroyed because he did use the electric chainsaw. I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you, Ms. Brandhorst.
Okay.
Next, we have Mr. Danny Cleus, followed by Ms. Donna Robinson.
My name is Danny Cleus. At the last meeting, there were some things said that concerns me. One, if I was a commissioner, someone spoke about unsafe neighborhoods, speeding cars, people getting hit, people almost getting hit. I wouldn't have asked about whose liability was the speed bump sandbags. I wouldn't have said anything about dust. I would have said, if I was in your shoes, what the heck is going on in that community that these people have to go to extreme to do that? It upsets me. And when it does, I start digging for answers. Number two, I'm glad there's people like Tammy and Denise Ross that help out our community, that do things for us to help try to improve it. We need more people like that in our community. Number three, when I get irritated, aggravated, I dig up reports. There's been reports since 1969 out there in Lemmon Valley. The most recent reports, hydrologist reports, civil engineers reports, that I have read from 2005 to 1984, 85, they all revert back to the same FEMA, Army Corps of Engineers reports. Things that should have been done out there to avoid processes that are happening right now. In 2005, one of the reports says there should be 93,000 cubic yards of material removed, or a catastrophic event will happen. In 1999, with the Northern Nevada Water Commission, and I don't know for a fact if this is just for Washoe County or not, there was $23 million allowed to do improvements. When I find the rest of the facts, the rest of the reports, because it refers back to another issue of 595 in some report. I will find it eventually and see where that money went. All this flooding out there could have been avoided. If over the...
Thank you, Mr. Cleus. Next, I have Mrs. Donna Robinson.
Good morning. Donna Robinson for the record. I am a Lemmon Valley resident. I haven't been able to come to every commissioner's meeting as Tammy and Danny have been able to. I don't have the time to do the research that they have diligently done. But I watched the last commissioner's meeting and was upset at what I heard from certain commissioners. I am a red tagged house out there. I bought my house 25 years ago, my first purchase. I am thankful for what the county has done out there. I am living in an apartment paid by the county, thank you. My 75-year-old mother who's recovering from back surgery thanks you. Otherwise, we would be in a condemned house and not able to live there and don't know what to do. I am still making mortgage payments on a property I haven't been able to live in for 3 months. I am frustrated with my insurance company because everything is dragging on. So when I hear that the county doesn't want to give us community meetings to update us, it frustrates me. I learned more information watching Mr. Solero's slide presentation at your last meeting than I did at any of the community meetings. The biggest problem out in Lemon Valley is we're not getting information. So what's happening? Rumors are running rampant. I'm on a fixed income. A lot of people out there on fixed incomes. I was angry when Commissioner Jung said, well, we need to assess them monies to pay for this because they bought on a lake bed. When I bought my first house, it's been there since 1972. I bought my house in 1990. I paid flood insurance because I was told I needed to, but it's not my fault that the house was built there. So to penalize the residents out there is the wrong message that you're sending. We're frustrated at the lack of communication. We just want progress reports. We need that information, otherwise rumors run rampant. That's what we're frustrated at with the county. Yes, you guys have done some amazing things out there. The HESCO barrier is up. The Washoe County Sheriff's Department has been out there diligently. Yes, they cannot be on every street every minute. And I live on the street the sandbags were on, and I actually thought it was a decent idea because people almost hit my 75-year-old mom coming out of a porta potty in the middle of the night. So those are the frustrations we deal with. We ask you to communicate with the residents out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Seeing no further speakers, we will bring it back to the board at this time. So, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, if we could, we had a request that we go to item 8A.
8A, we will move to 8A right now.
Okay. 8A is your only consent agenda item on today's agenda. It's acknowledgement of receipt of the 35th consecutive annual certificate of achievement for excellence in financial reporting from Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada for the county's comprehensive annual financial report for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2016. And Comptroller Kathy Hill is here to make a few remarks, and her staff as well.
Marvelous. Ms. Hill, how are you?
Good morning. Kathy Hill, Comptroller for the record. Thank you for allowing me to come here to discuss the receiving the achievement of this 35th year in a row award for excellence in financial reporting. This particular award is key because we were here on September 20th when we presented the 34th one in 2016, and the fact that we're back here again 8 months later during a short staffing period, it's just proof that the staff that the county has in the Comptroller's office, even low-staffed, did not allow quality to diminish, and they worked hard to continue this tradition. I'm very proud of them and pleased with them, and I think the county should be as well. And on that note, I'd like to give them the opportunity to come up here themselves and introduce themselves to you.
That'd be wonderful.
Thank you.
Robert Andrews, County Manager.
Welcome.
Asta Dominguez, Senior Accountant.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Joyce Garrett. I'm an accountant too.
Welcome.
Good morning, Edwin Smith, Administrative Secretary.
I'm Tammy Yao, an accountant too.
Darlene Delaney, Senior Accountant.
Welcome.
Crystal Varnum, Senior Accountant.
Martin Williams, accountant too.
Jerry Renshaw, Administrative Secretary.
Russell Morgan, Accounting Manager.
Great. Well, big round of applause to your staff.
Thank you very much.
And can we get, Mr. Manager, can we do a picture with staff really quick? Thank you. gotta get down here early and start centering. All right, we got to shift. This would be the photographer. All right, come on. We're having on. We gotta go over here. So we got some you don't pay.
All right.
We're just balancing each other out here.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody look up right here.
All right, everybody look right here. Here we go. 3, 2. One more. Here we go. 3, 2. All right.
Wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Don't go far. Yeah. Mr. Chair, next item is item 4, which is introduction of new Washoe County employees. So I'd invite you to come back down. And would invite our new employees to come down. We'll have them line up here, introduce themselves, their department, their position, and then be welcomed by the commission.
That's right. Come on up. State your name and your position. I didn't say that.
Rebecca Nelson with the Crime Lab. I'm a criminalist. Darby Steinmetz, Crime Lab, in the DNA section, criminalist.
Steve Gross, CSD, Building Operations Project Manager.
Helena Williams. I work in social services, and I'm an office assistant, too.
Good morning. I'm Linda Rielson. I'm an account clerk too, up with the comptroller's office.
Sean Keating, Building Inspector Supervisor with the Community Service Department.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Irene Dominguez with the Washoe County Sheriff's Office, the Accounting Department.
Good morning, Dana Searcy, Management Analyst in the Office of the County Manager. Yeah, I know.
Hi, good morning. Amy Ventitulo, Office of the County Manager, Media Communications Specialist.
Big round of applause. And I want to thank all of our new employees. It is a wonderful family here at Washoe County. We love having new faces, and it shows our continued commitment to serving our county and all of our constituents. So thank you very much. Wonderful. We're glad to have new faces here. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, before I go to the next item, I would like...
Mr. Dene, this is a business meeting, and I will conduct it as such. Thank you, sir. Mr. Manager. Mr. Manager, please.
Mr. Chair, on item 8A, which you had heard earlier, there was no one signed up for public comment on that item.
Thank you,
and
sir.
item 4, which we just heard, is not an action item.
Thank you, sir.
So,
And
Mr. Dene, if I have to ask you one more time, I will ask the sheriffs to escort.
You're wrong.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, our next item is item 5, which is presentation of excellence in public service certificates honoring the following Washoe County employees who have completed essential employee development courses. Washoe County encourages lifelong learning and the professional development of all employees. Administered by the Human Resources Department, Excellence in Public Service is a series of certificate programs designed to support employee development and performance. The completion of these courses over 2 years demonstrates the employee's commitment to continuous personal and professional improvement and to Washoe County's journey of excellence. And we are pleased to recognize that commitment today. Our first recipient is Zuma Reyes Perico, and Zuma has completed the Promote Yourself Mini Certificate Program.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. There you are. Yes.
Our next recipient is Kimberly Paholke. Kimberly is Account Clerk 2 for Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District and has completed the Essentials of SAP for Financial Staff Certificate Program. Congratulations, Kimberly. And then last but not least, Christian Ryan, Librarian 1 for the library system, has completed the Essentials of Management Development Certificate Program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I will join you back up.
Great.
For our
You know, and I want to commend all of our staff that, you know, Commissioner Jung usually takes this opportunity, but here for all of our staff, we have a wonderful continuing education for all of our staff and family here at Washoe County. And for those who take advantage of it, congrats to you, kudos to you. It's a wonderful process. We'd love to see more of these awards given out on every meeting that we can attend. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule in addition to your work schedule to complete these extra. So thank you. All right, at this time, we are on to proclamations.
Mr. Chair, these are our proclamations, item 6. We have items 6A through 6H, I believe. And just for those in the audience, commissioners will come down to read the proclamation. We'll invite those receiving or interested in this proclamation to come on down with them. And then after each proclamation, we will take opportunity to take photos, and the board will then take action on the proclamations at the end of all of that. So our first proclamation is item 6A, proclaiming May 2017 as Older Americans Month.
And I know we have Ken Raderath and also Donna Klontz.
Madam Vice Chair, the floor is yours.
And for the record, Mr. Chairman, we've been provided with some documentation which I shared with you and we'll put on the record.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Chair, as you know, as this board knows well, senior citizens and older persons are a real special thing for me, very close and dear to my heart. The issues that we deal with, that's because I am one. Well, actually, it's because I took care of my mother for many, many years, for 19 years when she had Alzheimer's, and so I know what it is like to have this group of people who care so much about our seniors and who are here and taking such good care of them. So I want to take the opportunity to read this proclamation, and then we will let Mr. Raderath and Donna and whoever else wants to speak. If there's any other seniors out there who want to come forward, please do. So whereas Washoe County includes older Americans who richly contribute to our community, and whereas Washoe County supports older adults as they take charge of their health, explore new opportunities and activities to focus on independence, and whereas Washoe County is committed to raising awareness about issues facing older Americans and helping all individuals thrive in communities of their choice for as long as possible. And whereas our community can provide opportunities to enrich the lives of individuals of all ages by involving older adults in the redefinition of aging in our community, promoting home and community-based services that support independent living, encouraging older adults to speak up for themselves and others, and providing opportunities for older adults to share experiences. And whereas the Washoe Washoe County Board of Commissioners 2016 through 18 strategic objectives, safe, secure, and healthy communities, includes a goal to keep senior services on pace with the rising senior population. And the Commission recognizes the efforts of all of Washoe County's departments and their community partners to address our rapidly aging community. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2017 as Older Americans Month and urges every resident to take time this month to acknowledge older adults and the people who serve them as influential and vital individuals who greatly contribute to our community. Dated the 16th day of May 2017 and signed by our chair, Mr. Lucy. Mr. Redrath.
Yes, thank you. Members, yeah, where am I?
You've been down in Carson too long.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the committee, for the record, Ken Redrath, Division Director in Social Services, responsible for the senior and adult divisions. As Commissioner Burke Bigler said, seniors are a growing population in our community. Right now, we have over 80,000 seniors in Washoe County, and by the year 2020, we expect that number to be over 100,000. So out into 2050, we will continue to see that growth. So an issue that is near and dear to me and something that's very important. This is the kickoff of, this month is Older Americans Month, as you know, and this theme this year is to age out loud. And what we're wanting folks to look at is to strive for wellness. How do you go out and be more active and stay engaged and keep healthier? To know your rights. There's a lot of things. There was issues here earlier about housing, so we want people to know their rights, and the Senior Law Project's a great place for that to happen. Stay engaged. We want people to stay engaged so they stay healthy through communication and socialization, and then to explore new things. We have seniors all the time that are going through the colleges and getting their degrees for the first time. So I would encourage people to pick this up. It's out in our community. There are a lot of events that are happening this month, and look forward to that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. Good morning, Commissioners. And I'm Donna Klontz. I serve on the Washoe County Senior Advisory Committee as well as the Reno Senior Advisory Committee. And a lot of volunteers have put a lot of time into creating all the activities that Ken just showed you in the booklet. Aging Out Loud is the theme this year, and there are over 70 events that have been set up. We've passed out one booklet for each of you to have, to refer to, give to your staff, so that if community folk call in, you can advise them about what's going on out there. We finished about 35 or 40 of the events so far. We have a great one this afternoon for those seniors out there who are interested in finding out things about the law, especially landlord-tenant issues, which is the big one right now for folks that are on fixed incomes that are finding that their landlords are trying to evict them when they can't pay the rent anymore. Our Senior Law Project is working really hard on serving those folks. They're located at the County Senior Center building on just across the parking lot from us. We'll also have the DA, Chris Hicks, and we'll have Carl Hoff, Reno City Attorney there, as well as Homa, blanked her last name, our new elder rights attorney for the state of Nevada. So we'll have 4 really important, very knowledgeable folks there to answer all questions that folks have about what it means to be senior and all the things that affect them. We invite you all to attend any more of the activities that are going on in the county. And last of all, I wanted to mention Stuff-A-Bus. We brought a barrel down today. This will be the 4th year that we have placed these lovely blue barrels all over Washoe County and asked the community to help us by donating some items that our neediest seniors need. Things like clean sweats, slippers, socks, toothpaste, toothbrushes, soap, and those kinds of things. And at the end of the month, on the 30th of May, an RTC bus will show up at Greater Nevada Field at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So from 4 to 6, the community can come down and donate some more things, and we will take everything we've gathered so far in all our barrels all over the place and stuff that bus full of the things our seniors need. Folks can donate cash or checks through Washoe County Senior Services as well. So if you don't have time to go get something and put it in the barrel, you can come down to Washoe County Senior Center and see the gals at the front desk. They'd be glad to take a donation as well. And the ACEs and the 1868 new soccer team are donating buy one, get one ticket vouchers on the 30th when the bus is at Greater Greater Nevada Field. So come down on that date. If you're interested in going to a 2-for-1 baseball game or a soccer game, you'll be helping our seniors as well as having a great time with your family. So I wanted to thank all of our all the folks that have been helping us with Stuff a Bus and with Older Americans Month this time, because the volunteers of both the senior committees have been the ones behind the scene working on creating all of this activity. So I wanted to thank Amber Howell from our Human Services, Ken Rederath, Chris Charlo, and Nancy Lewinhagen for helping us get the word out, Chrissy Lassard, who worked on that booklet and created a beautiful document, Len Reidenbaugh at the Senior Center, Sandra Vasquez, and Angela Owings from Senior Services. We will also be working with county staff. We'll have barrels at the Sheriff's Department, at Social Services. There's a barrel out in your lobby right now, and at the District Attorney's Office. So we'll have barrels all over Washoe County, and ask the community and county employees to help us help those seniors that need the help the most. So thank you so much for honoring us with Older Americans Month proclamation, and we hope that this is the best one we've had yet.
Thank you, Mrs. Clements. All right. So I think what we'll do is we're going to try to do every proclamation, then come down and do pictures really quick for each proclamation. So, yeah,
We're gonna do pictures.
right now.
All right, let's do pictures.
I forgot, we have whistles for everybody, for aging out loud. We'll have to give them to the back of the audience.
Let's try to get this time so we don't get corrected.
Sure. Yeah. Yes, that's right. Whatever word. Balance it out.
All right, here we go. In 3, 2, one more. Here we go. In 3, 2.
Thank you so much.
Say it isn't so.
Thanks, Tom. As always, thank you.
Sorry.
Commissioner Hartson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam Vice Chair, I need some peace officers. Public safety officers, I believe.
Yeah, so we're here for the proclamation from the Peace Officers Memorial.
Mr. Chair, as commissioners being joined by our law enforcement officers, I would just mention that this is item 6B, and there's a correction that needs to be made on the agenda. It's on the proclamation correctly, but it proclaiming May 15th, 2017 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and May 15th through May 21st, 2017 as National Police Week.
Thank you. Commissioner Hartson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, we take for granted many times how safe our community is. And it's because of the dedicated servants that we have behind me. And this is not just to say the Washoe County Sheriff's Office. It's not just them. It is Reno Police, it's Sparks Police, it's the school police, it's NHP, and they show up tirelessly, and they go in first, never thinking about themselves. They always put themselves in front of us and harm's way. And it just really humbles me how truly brave they are. They don't have time to think about the things that are going on around them. They just have to move forward. And it's really very, very impressive. So it is my deep pleasure to offer this proclamation. Whereas every day, public safety officers work tirelessly to protect our citizens, enforce our laws, and keep our neighborhoods safe. They report for duty knowing full well the dangers they face and the sacrifices they may be called upon to make. And whereas, this week, Washoe County pays tribute to the thousands of men and women who serve us with extraordinary bravery, and we remember the heroes who have laid down their lives in pursuit of a safer, more just society. And whereas, while we can never fully repay them for their service, we must work to ensure our law enforcement officers are equipped with the tools and technology they need to do their jobs safely and effectively. And whereas, Washoe County owes a profound debt to all those who have worn the badge and to the families whose care enables them to serve with courage and pride. When the unthinkable happens and officers give their lives or are seriously injured in the line of duty, we have an obligation to give their loved ones the support they deserve. And whereas, during Peace Officers Memorial Day and Police Week, we recall the selflessness of our law enforcement officers and their families, and we honor all those who devote their lives to forging a stronger, safer America. Let us reflect on their invaluable contributions as we enjoy the peace they bring to our communities, and let us vow that their service will never be taken for granted. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 15th, 2017 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and May 11th through May 17th, 2017 as National Police Week, dated the 16th day of May 2017, signed by our chairman, Bob Lucy. Ladies and gentlemen, would you like to step up?
I just wanted to let you know that the sheriff is in Washington, D.C., representing us at National Police Week, and he apologizes for not being here. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Russ, you're so good. Pete? Ben? Tommy? Come on, Tommy.
Oh, don't put them up there.
Don't get them started.
Don't put them up there.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let's grab a picture.
I'll give you this. Thank you. And again, thank you so much.
Spanish meetings next week too. So you know which one.
How are you?
All right, here we go. In 3, 2. One more. Here we go. 3, 2.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Manager, we are on to 6C.
We are on 6C, proclamation proclaiming May 2017 as Wildfire Awareness Month.
Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Madam
yours.
Vice Chair, Mr. Manager, who do I have representing wildfire?
I think
Lots
you
of
have.
folks.
Kurt. Thank you, Commissioner. I haven't seen you in forever. Hi. Vaughn. I don't think we've met. This is something that can affect all of us, wildfires, and you never know when one is going to break out. It's really, really tough in our community. We've been blessed over the last few years to not have to deal with many thousands of acres, although recently we did deal with one that really impacted our community, and I pray every day that we don't have to deal with another. So, Whereas wildfire significantly impacts Washoe County's economic and social well-being, and whereas homeowners should ensure proper management of vegetation surrounding the home and appropriate home construction and maintenance to resist ignition, and whereas residents can save precious time in an evacuation by preparing a to-go bag and family evacuation plan ahead of time, and whereas communities should create well-designed fuel breaks, ensure good access for emergency vehicles, and consider multiple evacuation routes, and whereas all residents should evacuate immediately when asked by emergency responders. Now therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2017 as Wildfire Awareness Month and supports this year's theme, Wildfire, Prepare, Anticipate, Evacuate, as a means for education and a call for residents of Washoe County to take action to reduce wildfire threats and prepare their homes, families, and community for wildfires, and anticipate a possible evacuation and evacuate their homes when asked. Dated this 16th day of May 2017, signed by our chairman, Bob Lucy.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ed Smith, Cooperative Extension. Nevada Wildfire Awareness Month is an interagency effort coordinated by Cooperative Extension. It's a statewide effort. Last year, I believe we had over 150 different events and activities occur statewide. The purpose is to promote awareness and action by Nevada residents who live in wildfire-prone areas. As the Commissioner stated, this year's theme, established by an interagency planning committee for Nevada Wildfire Awareness Month, is Wildfire, Prepare, Anticipate, Evacuate. I want to thank Washoe County for this proclamation. It helps us in our efforts to keep wildfire in the forefront of Nevada residents. So thank you. Jamie, would you?
Good morning. My name is Jamie Royce Gomes. I'm the Outreach Coordinator with University of Nevada Cooperative Extension's Living with Fire program. And I just wanted to put a plug this Saturday, May 20th, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're actually going to have a Junk the Juniper event at the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District Silver Lake Fire Station, and we'll take your woody vegetation, and chipping is done for free, and you'll also get a coupon from Moana Nursery for 20% off a shrub or a plant. But I also have this for the commissioners, and this is a bandana with an evacuation checklist on here. So if you, hopefully you prepare before a wildfire comes, but you can always look at this and make sure that you have stuff to take before you leave. And you can also put this over your mouth and your nose to protect you against the smoke. So
Great.
I have this.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect.
Chief, did you want to say that?
Yeah, they're okay. Yeah, I'll say something. Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Hartung, thanks for this. I know Ed Smith hates it when I call him this, but he's the Billy Graham of defensible space. And it's great having him as it's great having him as a partner because he brings an excellent message to the public. So thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, well.
Oops, like that. Appreciate it, Commissioner.
Go get that proclamation out of there. It's these small nuances, we're trying to make it challenging for you here.
All right, here we go, in 3, 2. One more, here we go, in 3, 2.
Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, our next item is item 6D, the proclamation proclaiming May 21st to the 27th 2017 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
Great. Commissioner Hartung.
Invite everyone to come down with the Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Floor is yours, sir.
Madam Vice Chair, Mr. Manager, I know we have some folks
Yeah,
from
we-
REMSA here.
There's lots of EMS in here. I feel very safe today, let me just tell you.
About
Oh, my goodness.
three or four fire chiefs. We're covered.
Fire chiefs, we got, this is great, phenomenal.
Okay, we have everybody. You know, this really piggybacks on the police officers and first responders. We take this for granted in our community that when you dial 911, somebody's going to show up. And whether it's a fire agency or whether it's REMSA, it makes no difference because you know that aid is being rendered immediately. And we are truly blessed to have some of the best first responders, I believe, in the world. I've watched our guys at work. They're quick, they're efficient, and when I say our guys, I mean our folks. It's amazing. Even the female EMS attendants, they're not afraid to pick up their end of the stretcher. I was very, very impressed with how tough some of you guys, you are. She be little, but she be mighty. It's truly amazing. So, having said that, whereas Emergency Medical Services, EMS, is a vital public service with personnel ready to provide life-saving care to the community 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas the Emergency Medical Service system consists of men and women in both public and private sectors, including emergency physicians, emergency nurses, emergency dispatchers, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, volunteers, and others throughout our healthcare system who work together to ensure those in need receive the highest level of emergency service. And whereas the EMS commitment to patient care throughout Northern Nevada has been an integral factor in our safety and security, and whereas Washoe County is proud to have organizations such as the Reno Fire Department, Sparks Fire Department, Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District, North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District, Reno Tahoe Airport Authority Fire Department, Pyramid Lake Fire EMS, Gerlach Volunteer Fire Department, REMSA, and CareFlight operating throughout the region to ensure the highest quality of patient care and community support. Whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of the emergency medical services by designating Emergency Medical Services Week with the theme EMS Strong, Always in Service. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 21st through the 27th, 2017 as Emergency Medical Services Week, dated this 16th day of May 2017, signed by our chairman, Bob Lucy. And we have a bunch of these, and I don't know who they all go to, and we'll probably have more to pass out.
Do you want me to just...
Perfect. And then if we need, I know we'll need some more, and we'll be happy to provide those. Who would like to say a couple words? Anything? Check your pulses.
I know. I think.
Okay.
On behalf of the Washoe County EMS Oversight Program and all the partners, we'd like to thank you for this proclamation. In front of you today, we have 4 agencies represented, the Reno Fire Department, REMSA, North Lake Tahoe Fire Protection District, and then Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District. And so we are proud to work with them, and we appreciate the proclamation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Big round. Come on, Joe, get up here and sit right next to me. There you go. Perfect.
Let's cushion a little bit. Pretend like you showered today. All right, here we go. In 3, 2. One more. Here we go. In 3, 2. Let's take one more. Here we go. In 3, 2. We're good.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. I think it's my turn.
Yes. All right. So we'll finally give Commissioner Hartung a reprieve. Let him stand down for a second.
Mr. Chair, next item.
He's locked out. We're going to have to keep him out, unfortunately. All right, Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, this next item, very happy to read this proclamation proclaiming May 16, 2017 as Robert and Peter Listener Day.
Hi.
Marvelous.
This is so marvelous. These guys do such great things for our community. They not only build beautiful houses that are really well constructed, but they donate so much of their time and their staff's time and their money through their foundation to help this community, and we thank you so much for everything that you've done. And aside from that, they're pretty good friends. I like both of them. So let me read this proclamation. Whereas the North Valleys area of incorporated Washoe County is outside the available regional transportation network, and the transportation needs of seniors have gone largely unmet. And whereas Robert Listener and his son Peter, through their nonprofit Lifestyle Homes Foundation, recently donated more than $19,000 to Washoe County Senior Services to purchase a van for the use in the North Valleys. And whereas, thanks to the listeners' generous contribution for the purchase of a van, transportation services will improve for the senior population living in the North Valleys area now and well into the future. And whereas the listeners and their nonprofit foundation have been continual supporters of Washoe County by helping to donate to services that help children, adults, and seniors alike. And whereas Robert and Peter Listener represent generosity, commitment to their community, and a willingness to help their neighbors in a time of need. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 16, 2017, as Robert and Peter Listener Day, in recognition of the honorable contributions Robert and Peter Listener have made to Washoe County, dated this 16th day of May, 2017, and signed by our chair, Bob Lucy. Thank you so much. I'll take a hug.
All right.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Gentlemen?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I think the last time I was in the spot like this, I was on Par Boulevard. But I did prepare my speech here. First thing I want to say is thank you for the recognition. And the second thing is it's our pleasure. We try and do a lot for the North Valleys. And the last thing is I'll turn it over to my pops.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucy and Commissioner Hartung, Commissioner Burke-Bigler. I would like to say thank you for the recognition. I'd also like to say thank you to you for the endless hours that I know you put in being county commissioners. It is enormously appreciated, so thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And you know, one quick thing, Commissioner Hartung has
Hold
one.
on just a second here before we come down and make a photograph. You two are fixtures in this community. Mr. Listener, you and I, Bob, have known each other for quite a number of years, and I have to say, you have no idea the impact that they have made in this community. They have given more to innumerable causes, and you never hear about it. They never say a word. They are so humble. And don't stand there and giggle and deny it, because it is absolutely true. I have seen you guys step up time and time and time again, and you're just amazing to our community. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Ken Rederath also, since he is our expert on senior services, would like to have a word about these gentlemen.
Thank you once again. For the record, Ken Rederath, Division Director of Social Services. I would just like to say thank you very much. This is a very needed thing pretty much across the county. Transportation is a huge issue for our seniors, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of Social Services for such a generous gift. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we go. 3, 2. One more. Here we go. 3, 2.
Just for the record.
I did not. Start messing with me, Ratterat. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, our next item is item 6F, proclaiming May 21st to the 27th, 2017 as National Public Works Week. And I know
Okay.
we have a number of employees here. For
Yeah,
this item.
hopefully, Mr. Solero, Mr. Smith, Mr. Crump, staff. I know, this is my favorite. I got to tell you, every year I've had the unique pleasure of reading this proclamation for the last, since I got elected, and I got to tell you, this is one of the most important ones for me. As a commissioner, you see and notice that these are the gentlemen that put in, you know, as much as we talk about our EMS and our first offenders that are out there saving lives that are tremendously important, it's these individuals that make sure that our days go on normal every day and make sure that we have the roads that we have, the homes that we have, the development that we have, and when there are emergencies, these are the guys that may not be the first on scene, but they're the guys well after the EMS is cleared out, and they're continuing to clean up the mess and make sure that our beautiful community stays just as that, a beautiful, wonderful working community. So it gives me great pleasure today to read this proclamation for you. So be it proclaimed. Whereas Washoe County Community Service Department is an integral part of our community and has been providing public works to benefit the community and residents since June 15th, 1967. And whereas the American Public Works Association endorses National Public Works Week to energize, educate the public on the key role of public works plays in an efficient planning, building, managing, and maintenance of public infrastructure and public projects in our community. And whereas the support and understanding of an informed community is vital to the efficient operation of a public works program such as water, wastewater, stormwater, reclaimed water management, streets and roadways, public buildings and grounds, parks, and other vital community services. And whereas a community's health, safety, and well-being and quality of life greatly depends on the public works programs and services. And whereas the dedicated and skilled professionals skilled personnel who plan, design, build, manage, operate, and maintain the infrastructure are an integral part of the foundation upon which the county's and nation's prosperity and stability are built. And whereas the efficiency of qualified and dedicated personnel whose staff public works departments across the nation is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work that they perform. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 21st through 27th, 2017 as National Public Works Week. and calls upon all citizens, civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the community's dependence on the need for public works and recognize the significant contributions which public works professionals make every day, and by always being there and always being ready to provide our health and safety and comfort and quality of life. Dated this 16th day, May 27th, 2017, signed by myself, Bob Lucy, Chair, Washoe County Commission. Congratulations, guys. All right. Get up here. So anybody want to say a word? No? Oh, Eric's up. Yes, Eric first.
Thank you. For the record, Eric Crump with Washoe County's Community Services Department. So as we all know, Public Works touches a lot of things in our community, and as we come out of the winter that's going to go down in many, many record books, I think it's a great opportunity to recognize. This is just a sampling of the team that was behind during some of our storms in January, and we saw record amounts of snowfall, record amounts of rainfall, and these guys gave up a lot to be out there many, many hours and many, many days in some pretty crazy weather to keep our roads and our streets safe. So thank you very much.
Anybody else?
Good morning. For the record, Dwayne Smith, Division Director of Engineering and Capital Projects. And again, thank you for taking a minute to read this proclamation into the record. You know, this is any successful municipality, right? They do it through good, hard work. And that good, hard work starts with these folks standing behind me. I mean, these are the people that come every day with their skills, their dedication, their commitment to Washoe County, to the residents of Washoe County. And so I just, again, want to take a minute, thank everybody personally, and make sure you tell everybody back in your offices and your workplaces, you know, how proud we are of all the hard work that you put in on a daily basis. And again, thank you for taking a moment to recognize them yourselves.
Thank you. I want to take the opportunity also to say, as the Vice Chairman, that I am so impressed with you guys and everything you've done. You've been out there in Lemon Valley, you've been out there in Collin Ranch, you've been out there in the South Valleys, you've been out there in Hidden Valley. I mean, thank you for everything you've done. And in Tahoe, also, many of you up in Tahoe many, many times with all the snow we got up there and trying to clear those roads. Wow, really tough. And so just thank you so much. You can't know how important you are to us. Without you guys, you know, commissioners don't matter, but you guys do. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Vice Chairman, and I want to point one other thing out. You know, I was just asked, Mr. Solero, how many employees strong we here are at Washoe County in our Community Services Department. We have 225. 225 individuals is what makes this in county of 6,600 square miles operate on a day-to-day basis. 225 people. It's impressive. And, you know, it's not these people sitting here, it's these individuals that are on the front line every day. So one more big round of applause for everybody in the San Jose, please. All right, guys, picture time. I know, it's all you guys. Come on, get up here. You get to hold it. Come on, get up here. Bring it.
I have a sneaking suspicion we're going to have to squeeze in.
Big group hug. Yeah. Scoot down a little, crunch up a little. There we go. Oh, that'll be good. All right. All right, everybody look right here. Here we go. In 3, 2. One more. Here we go. In 3, 2. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. You might just be surprised. I'll see people out there. Come on next. You are next. Mr. Manager, we are on to
6G.
We are on to 6G, which is proclamation proclaiming June 2017 as Lake Tahoe Wildfire Awareness Month.
Thank you, Mr. Manager and Mr. Chair. I want to take the opportunity to read this proclamation. These guys in Lake Tahoe, North Lake Tahoe Fire are absolutely a marvelous, marvelous fire department. Everybody in Incline Village who, as all of you know, have a tendency to complain occasionally, never complain about their fire department. So this fire district is very well appreciated and very well liked, and we thank you for everything you're doing. So I will read the proclamation. Whereas wildfire is a serious threat to Lake Tahoe's environment, social and economic well-being, and whereas visitors, residents, and fire-prone fire-prone communities at Lake Tahoe must take responsibility for living and recreating in high fire hazard areas, and whereas June 2017 is Wildfire Awareness Month and marks the 10-year anniversary of the Angora Fire, and whereas people living and recreating at Lake Tahoe must take important precautions to help prevent wildfire ignitions, and whereas residents and property owners at Lake Tahoe must create defensible space and take other important steps to create fire-adapted communities and prepare in advance for Lake Tahoe's next wildfire. And whereas partners of the Tahoe Fire and Fuels team, including all of the local fire protection districts, counties, and cities at Lake Tahoe, are asking people to think first to keep Tahoe fires safe. Now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim June 2017 as Lake Tahoe Wildfire Awareness Month as a call to action for people to prevent wildfires, reduce wildfire risk by preparing their homes and communities, adopted the 16th day of May 2017 and signed by our chairman, Mr. Commissioner Lucy. And I will hand this to our chief from Washoe County, to our chief from North Tahoe, Mr. Summers.
Correct.
I knew I got it right.
Good.
And give him the microphone and give him the opportunity. And I want to tell you, he's a relatively new chief. Mike retired, who was the former chief up there, retired a year ago.
Correct.
And Mr. Summers has come in, and he is doing a bang-up job. So thank you very much for all you do.
Thank you. Good morning, Board. Ryan Summers for the record, North Lake Tahoe Fire. Thank you for that great introduction. And again, as you've been hearing all morning, all the praise and thanks for the county. We, obviously from North Lake Tahoe Fire and the Basin and our other partners within the county, thank you for this. The Tahoe Basin is a little unique, topography and everything else that happens up there. And as you know, wildland fires know no boundaries. So it's a very collaborative effort in not only in the Basin, but in Washoe County as well, and with UNR. And we definitely appreciate this proclamation today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, they're good. We'll do a picture.
Okay.
You guys just count this, you just cannot figure out where.
Just get in the line.
It's way offside now. It's way offside.
It's all right. I can move it. All right, here we go. And 3, 2. One more. Here we go. And 3, 2. And then wait. I gotta take a. So here we go. 3, 2. All right. Super.
Awesome.
Can you call Italy on that phone for me?
Yeah, actually.
Come on, Ed. This is your Papa Extension always has something. Mr. Manager, we are on to 6H.
Mr. Chair, 6H is proclamation of recognition for 80 years of National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges achievements. We have a group who's been waiting very patiently for this.
They have. They've been very patiently. But you know, as most judicious people do, they're very patient. You know, court. That's right. That is right. Well, once again, it gives me great pleasure and an honor to be up here in front of the commission today for this proclamation. The NCJ-FCJ, which is also known as the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, is a initiative that's near and dear to my heart. We have some of our close family that are now over there and running the operations. Their new CEO, Joey Orduna Hastings, who has done a phenomenal job in her newest recent tenure there. But this is more than that. This is a local organization that has been based here in Reno for quite some time, and they are now. This is their 80th year. 80th year that they're celebrating here in operation, and in their service of helping continue to educate and elevate juvenile and family court justices. And my significant other, my wife, serves as a family court attorney. She sees the challenges that go on and the challenges that go on in these courtrooms every day. And it's a little different when you have families and children involved in a courtroom and what it takes for these justices to get through these challenging times. And it's through associations such as the NCJ-FCJ that make education for these justices and these attorneys and individuals within the community easier and make these transitions for consistently looking out for those individuals sometimes that without a voice. And so it brings me great pleasure to bring you this proclamation today. So be it proclaimed. Whereas on May 22nd, 1937, the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, also known as the NCJ-FCJ, was established by judges who came together with a vision of strengthening the juvenile court system and to provide support, share knowledge, and facilitate an exchange of ideas with their colleagues across the nation. And whereas the NCJ-FCJ is the oldest judicial membership organization in the country and a leading provider in judicial education. And whereas the NCJ-FCJ believes judges are leaders of the juvenile and family court system, and by engaging all stakeholders, better decisions are made with improved outcomes for children, families, victims of domestic violence. And whereas the NCJ-FCJ brings together a broad constituency of judicial officers, attorneys, advocates, court administrators, clerks of court, probation officers, child welfare professionals, detention, mental health, and others with common goal of ensuring the most effective juvenile and family court system. And whereas the NCJ-FCJ addresses a wide range of complex issues impacting the well-being of children and families that encompass juvenile delinquency, child abuse and neglect, divorce, custody, substance abuse, domestic violence, trauma, mental health, and military issues. And whereas for 8 decades, the NCJ-FCJ has been known for its exemplary quality of its services, including advanced education, training, publications, technical assistance, research, data and statistics, policy development to promote justice for children and families. And now, therefore, the Washoe County Board of Commissioners recognize and honors 80 years of achievements and tireless efforts of the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges, its members and staff, past and present, to ensure a timely, fair, coordinated justice system for children and families in safer communities across the country. Dated the 16th day of May, 2017, signed by myself, Bob Lucy, Washoe County Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Lucy, Commissioner Burke-Bigler, Commissioner Hartung, Chrissy Menicucci for the record. I'm the Director of Development for the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges. And on behalf of Joey Orduna Hastings, who unfortunately could not be here today, she's in Washington, D.C. on behalf of the council, I'd like to thank you so much for this proclamation and for the recognition and the support you've given the council. Our work is so important, and we're so proud of the past 80 years, and we look forward to serving This, not just Washoe County, but the state of Nevada and every state across the United States where we have members. I'd like to take a moment to introduce my colleagues who are here today with me: Cheryl Davidek, Amy Sadoff, Cheryl Daly, Sarah Grabowska, and Victor Leba. Thank you so much for this recognition. It was an honor to be here among so many worthy organizations and individuals doing work in Washoe County. And we have a small little token of appreciation for the commissioners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you all for what a great job you do. You're wonderful.
All right.
Appreciate it. Picture?
All right, Commissioner, where am I?
You're in the chambers. Hold yourself here, we're all around you. It's okay.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. And 3, 2, one more. Here we go. And 3, 2. All right, we're gonna take a hold the phone here. There we go. Everybody look right here. Here we go. Okay.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The cardio is over for the day.
I wish I had my Fitbit on. I would've
No,
known how many steps I
Got some
got.
serious steps in
Oh,
today.
neat. Okay.
All right, so that concludes our proclamations for today. So at this time, what I would be looking for is a motion to accept.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Hartung, second by Commissioner Berkeley. Do we have any public comment?
I didn't see any in the system for any of the proclamations.
I don't see any.
That's because you kicked.
I don't see. Yep. No, seeing none, I will, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously with Commissioner Jung and Commissioner Herman being absent.
We don't have to.
We should, yes. Sorry. Thank you for stopping me. I appreciate it. It's been kind of a wild day. Yeah, so we've got a motion and a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Can you press it again, Commissioner Hartung?
Yeah, it's still locked out. Are you on 6H? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let me try and put it in. No, just let me.
All right.
No,
Nope,
go ahead.
she's calling for the vote for now.
You should have your voting screen.
There it
There it
is.
is.
There we go. Please place your votes. Submit your votes. Wait, your vote. Motion carries unanimously, 3 with 2 commissioners being absent. All right, we are on to donations. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will read 7A through 7B3, which are all donations. So 7A, accept cash donations in the amount of $34,069.08 retroactively for the period of July 1, 2016 to March 31st, 2017, and direct the comptroller to make the appropriate budget amendments. This is for social services. 7B1, accept a donation of a vehicle estimated value of $3,500 from a private citizen for use by the Sheriff's Office in undercover and investigation operations. And B2, accept a donation in the amount of $25 from Robert and Diana Willems to the County of Washoe on behalf of the Washoe County Sheriff's Office to purchase equipment for the K-9 unit and for the K-9 unit. And B3, accept a donation of a vehicle estimated value $32,595 from the United States Marshals Service for the use by the Sheriff's Office in undercover fugitive operations. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who makes donations to us. The county is really blessed with a lot of people who support us in various different areas and make these kinds of donations. And so I would take the opportunity to thank them and make a motion to approve these.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Burke-Bigler.
Motion.
I haven't started it yet. Okay,
Okay.
let's see. Go ahead.
Okay, and then Commissioner Harton. Yep. There we go. Call for the vote.
No, we need
Public
one.
comment?
Oh, yes, do we have public comment signed in? Yes, we do have public comment signed in, thank you very much. I have Miss Kathy Brandhorst.
My name is Kathy Brandhorst, and I'm also the United States President. Accept a donation of a vehicle. Most of the vehicles that I have been noticing are all stolen. The stolen vehicles always belong to somebody else. And who are they? The United States born are missing a vehicle because it has been stolen off of their property, stolen out of the business where they work, or even shopping. They will notice a stolen vehicle in a parking lot. And even the mall has been noticing that there are several stolen vehicles on that property too. Why is this going on? Well, I'll let you know. The problem is that the stolen vehicles are driven by people who are on death row. What I mean is they have escaped from the prisons, escaped from jail. They need to be staying in the jails and prisons, and this has not been accepted at all. I noticed that they're still driving vehicles with no license at all on their vehicles. Expired 2001, and they're still driving the vehicle on the road. Well, I don't know where the sheriffs are that are supposed to be taking this problem off the streets. Also, when I have, I actually wanted to state, at the police department that my vehicle has been stolen. Well, they do recognize my vehicle stolen, but they're shot down with millions of bullets in their bodies or across their faces, so the police officers never survive. And what happens to my vehicle? That vehicle's still stolen because the person who really needs a vehicle needs my stolen car or van or truck. And they will continue to use it because they have no way of purchasing a stolen vehicle or van or truck. Also, I just wanted to let you know these operations are still advised by the sheriffs in our territory. Where are they? What's happening to our
Thank you,
sheriffs?
Ms. Brandhorst. All right. Seeing no further public comment signed in for looking, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Place your votes. Please confirm your votes. The motion carries unanimously with no nays. We are on to, so a little point of order. We did open agenda item 8A in consent earlier prior to agenda item 4. However, there was no need for action taken on that item, and there was no public comment signed in. So we will move on now to agenda item 9. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chairman, if I could suggest perhaps we open 9 and 10 together. These are our legislative items.
Okay.
Item 9 is discussion direction to staff regarding legislation or legislative issues proposed by legislators by Washoe County or by other entities permitted by the Nevada State Legislature to submit bill draft requests or such legislative issues as may be deemed by the chair or the board to be of critical significance to Washoe County. And item 10 is the same item with regards to the Truckee Meadows Fire Protection District.
All right, we will open items 9 and 10. So, Mr. Rogers, the floor is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. For the record, Al Rogers, Office of the County Manager. We did include, as typical, our weekly report for week 14 of this session. Also included is our list of bills of interest. First, directing to the report, as brought up by Commissioner Burke-Bigler earlier, there is a bill, SB 469, related to ending fund balance collective bargaining. That is still moving, but it does propose that ending fund balance would be lowered from 25% to 16.67%. Yeah, so just wanted to put that on the record. And then also of note at the end of the report.
Can I ask, are we going to oppose that? I mean, basically what they're telling us is that we can't save money for a rainy day. That's what, when you have to reduce those ending fund balances.
Well, let's get through the presentation first, and then we can have that discussion. Let's do that.
Certainly, Mr. Chair, we can talk about those that we're recommending, and any of those that you'd like to add to can be brought up. So, the other note, this is a milestone week. At the end of the week, as of Friday at midnight, all bills that are not exempt must move out of the second committee. So again, we'll narrow the field, if you will, again at the end of this week. So staff has been working diligently, monitoring those that have been presented to you, and many more. So moving over to the bills of interest. Again, just to orient you, we do have the continued bills that this board has given direction to support. On the first page, those 4. We do have one that we remain neutral on, and we now have 3, based on your actions of last week, to oppose at this time. Drawing your attention to page 3, we do have 2 bills that we're suggesting to take a position on. The first one being AB 271, again relating to collective bargaining, would give the ability for fact-finding to be binding and final. So we're recommending to oppose that. And then we do have SB 169, which is very similar and would be the similar position taken on AB 97 related to sexual offenses and the sexual offense kit. So those are the 2 that we have. We do have additionals that we're watching. Of interest, obviously, is AB 397. Excuse me, do I have that right? 379. Which is now referred to as the Park District Bill. We received the latest modification and comments this morning from our legislative lead in Carson, Ms. Jamie Rodriguez, and we are looking at that now to provide comments as soon as possible, but no later than tomorrow. So that one, again, is moving. Some of our provisions have been put in, but we'll continue to monitor that through this week. So with that, I would be happy to entertain any questions and or other bills that you'd like to give direction on.
Commissioner Hartung, I know you had comments.
Well, and the number on that bill, Mr. Rogers, was AB 497?
69.
Oh, AB 469. About the fund balance?
To Commissioner Hartung through the chair, yes, SB 469.
SB.
Yes.
Forgive me. So, what this, in my opinion, encourages is spend the money and not save it in the event that we have some catastrophic issue that we need to overcome. Like let's say a downturn of the economy or other catastrophic issues in our community that we have to fund. Any number of problems, whether it's wildfire or flood or anything. I mean, this helps us to ride those things out and stabilize. In our own lives, they recommend that we save a minimum of 6 months worth of wages. That's the standard recommendation. So if you make, let's just say, $50,000 a year, you should have $25,000 constantly in savings. For me personally, I don't agree with forcing that reduction, because really what it does is it could put the county in a precarious position monetarily. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would just address that one question, and I think there's certainly something to be said for taking a stand on the 25% that was put in by the Republicans, but I think we also have to realize the political ramifications and reality of what we're dealing with. We have the opposite party in full control of the legislature, and I think this is their response to that. I'd be curious what other local governments are doing. If that information could be provided to us, Mr. Rogers, that would be great. What other local governments are looking at and doing on that? I think that would be important for us to take a look at and see what happens with it, and also see whether it's actually going to get through the governor's veto pen, which I think is a questionable at this stage of the game.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I have a couple of questions, though,
Sure.
on a couple of other ones.
Please continue.
On that same page, SB 487, which imposes an excise tax on sale of marijuana-related products, it allows local governments to put on a 3% on cultivation, production, and retail. Do I understand the math correctly now, that would mean that if you are selling recreational marijuana, you have a 28% tax because you have the 15% tax from the ballot question, the governor's 10% tax on top of that, that's both of which are dedicated to education, and now the county would put a 3% tax on that? Am I correct in the assumption that that's a 28% tax on recreational?
To Commissioner Burke-Bigler through the chair. I can't stand here with certainty and say that is, but I think that assumption could be made, but we can clarify and get back to you in terms of, yes, is it cascading, if you will, in terms of the 15, the 10 from the state, and then 3, up to 3 from the local. But we can get that to you.
Thank you. I guess the one comment I would make is I do, as you know, believe that the county should, without question, get some money that we can use for things we need to do because of the sales of recreational marijuana. But it seems to me that a 28% tax would defeat the purpose of the governor's, of the legislator, the senator who introduced this in the first place, whose goal was to do away with the cartels selling this. I would think a 28% tax is actually going to make it cheaper for people to go to the cartels, and so I question whether or not that's logical at all. Also on the park bill, the AB 379, as I recall reading it, it really didn't impact existing recreational facilities. So, for instance, entities that already have recreational facilities. So I think GIDs are excluded from it, as I recall. But I'm curious how this might impact the Sun Valley GID, which already does parks and recreation and open space, as well as IVGID, which is responsible for parks and recreation and open space in the Incline Village, Crystal Bay area. So that would be a question I'd like brought back to us also. As I seem to recall that the language in there excluded I think it's 309, which are GIDs that relate to this NRS 309. And so I think we're probably okay there, but I think that's a question that we need to ask. And then on AB 120, which proposes to create a residential school construction tax, which would be approved by the school board, who would then, if it was presented to the county, the Board of County Commissioners must enact the tax. I'd like to know if this tax is, it says to develop land that they acquire through new developments. So is this money proposed just for the development of land? Does it include construction of new schools? Does it include repair of existing schools? Or is this money purely and simply like if the listeners were going to donate some land, they would pay the listeners a certain percentage of the land for their school in one of their housing developments? And so I think that's a question I'd like to see answered.
Commissioner Burke-Bigler, through the chair, if I may. We've had some discussion on this one on AB 120. A lot more to learn about this one, but as we understand it, to partly address your question, is that we understand it to be new development coming in, and that it would be, in essence, an impact fee that would come along with building permit fees. And to your point that it would be required by the county commission, there is criteria in there, although it's very vague in terms of anything that the county didn't see that met that criteria to not allow that impact fee to go through. So more to come on that one, but yes, it is one we are watching very carefully.
Okay. And then the last one that I had a question on is AB 163, which proposes to revise governing certain short-term loans. I don't see anything in here that we're watching it, but I don't see anything that talks about what kind of an impact that would have on the county and the county's entities that do go in and get loans, and I think that would be something that would be important to bring back to us at the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great, thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And on AB 120, you know, one of the twists in this, and I can understand, a developer, you used the listeners as an example. So they would, per dwelling unit, they would pay an impact fee. One of the things that I would want to see as a caveat is that that impact fee went into their neighborhoods, not to build a house. So they build a subdivision in Cold Springs, and then you know, Spanish Springs gets a high school. Well, that's not right.
Yeah.
Because it you know, once those impact fees are paid, it just goes into the pot. So that I have no problem with requiring an impact fee to be paid, but one of the problems that I've had, as you both well know, with RTC RIF fees, that does not necessarily guarantee that those RIF fees will be spent in the community or the benefit district in which they were generated, and I have a real problem with that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And it sounds like, Mr. Rogers, that SB 315 keeps coming back in regards to more amendments to the, they're trying to continually amend that language for the recycling bill for trash, but it doesn't sound like it has changed so dramatically that we would change our opposition of that bill at this time. So that would one thing that I would continue to place some effort on as we move forward. But other than that, I have no further items. So with that being said, I do have public comment signed in. Ms. Kathy Brandhorst.
My name is Kathy Brandhorst, and I'm also the United States President. I was just whispering just a minute ago because the victims are still needing help. These are all small children. Again, I don't know their real names, but I call them Scotty. And of course, there is Bobby, Sabrina, Jean, and there is Carolyn. And these children became victims because they know who the rapist is. They know who raped the 4.5-year-old girl. Oh my The grandmother really does need help. She just got the electric chainsaw, I understand, and she has been chopped up because she cannot keep quiet. She has to tell what she saw. Oh my God. I just wanted to tell you, you know, this Nevada State Legislature and the bill draft requests. The bill is also issuing again with the wires and poles. Who's going to pay for the gas and electric that was excluded from our apartment? And who's going to pay for the extra that they did with laser beams by connecting them to our electric bill? That is going to result into millions of dollars for them to pay, and they don't have the money to pay for it at all. Who's going to be responsible to pay the gas and electric for all those bills? Also, I just wanted to tell you, you know, that is the Nevada State Legislature right now. Who's going to pay for the water that they use and charge it to somebody else, and we still refuse to pay for that water that they used and they could not afford to pay for it? It's going to result into millions and even billions of dollars to use the water that they used in their own home, but they don't live there. Remember, they do not pay bills, they do not pay their rent, they do not pay for the gas and electric either. They cannot afford it. So who's going to be responsible for that bill? The Washoe County is signifying that they cannot pay for it because it's not going to come out of their pockets. They can't afford it either. So the water company will go out of business.
Thank you. All right. Seeing no further public comment, I'll bring it back to the board. Mr. Rogers, it looks like you've got your direction as of today, unless you have anything else to add at this time.
The only would be to take the direction suggested on those two bills identified on page 3, again, to oppose AB 271 and to remain neutral, but with concerns on SB 169.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion that we follow the direction of staff and oppose AB 271 and remain neutral on SB 169.
Okay. Motion?
Motion.
Second, on your pad. All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Burke-Bigler, second by Commissioner Hartung. All those in favor signify by saying aye and place your vote.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Please affirm your vote. All right. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. All right. We are on to our final public comment, item 11. And I have Ms. Donna Robinson signed in. Ms. Robinson.
No, I'm signed in too.
Followed by Mr. Danny Cleus. Thank you for staying with us, Ms. Robinson.
You're welcome. Donna Robinson for the record. I wasn't quite sure what I'm going to say for this 3 minutes, but what I do want to say is that I had a nice conversation with Mr. Solero outside just now, and that I want the board, the commissioners, to, I know you get frustrated at hearing Lemon Valley people come up here all the time and complain that the county's not doing enough, that it's the county's fault. We're frustrated. We're frustrated for a lot of reasons. And I saw a lot of frustration in the video on your last meeting, from Commissioner Hartung to Commissioner Jung, listening to Lemon Valley residents, whether they were affected or not affected, or whether sandbags got put out to slow down speeders, or that we should be paying more money. I understand your frustration. I want you to understand some of my frustration. My frustration is, this was the first home that I ever bought. I lived there for 25 years. I built it up with all my hard-earned money. I did addition, I put a barn up, I got horses. My frustration is frustrated with working with my insurance company who doesn't call me back. We're in May, I'm still waiting. Frustration of my credit card statements when I have to pay a moving company $1,700 to come out and move my belongings out of my home because it's not healthy to stay in it. I'm frustrated with having to go to a friend's house to have to take care of my horses. I'm frustrated at everything. All I ask is that the commissioners understand our frustration. I've heard that you've been invited to come out. I would welcome to have you come out with me and look at our frustration. Are some people getting back in their homes? Yes, because they're doing it themselves. I don't have that luxury. So please, when we get frustrated, I ask that you understand our frustration so that we can understand your frustration. I understand there's only a certain amount of money that's out there, but that I ask that you work with us, the community, to whether it's finding grants or getting us the information to help us rebuild our community out there. That's all I'm asking. Please, understand our frustration of not being in our homes, losing pets because of the situation, having to live in a place that half my stuff is in storage. So please, just understand our frustration, because we understand yours too. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Cleus.
Danny Cleus for the record. Nevada is known for ranching, farming, and mining, plus the gambling. Why can't we use some of that to get rid of that water? Why don't we talk to some of the miners, companies, the farmers, and get rid of some of that water? Relieve the pressure off the Hasco barriers. There's a lot of irrigation that could be done out there to get rid of that water. I can't read off the paper. I got lost in it when I spoke earlier. But there is tons of things that could be done that's not expensive and is readily available. I look at Yerington. They're going through a flooding stage right now, minor flooding, because they dredged the Walker River last year through the city. My parents own property there too. I see what Fallon just did to relieve some of the pressure off of their canals. Right now, I think that the Hasco barriers went up and pieces got drained off, but yet you put other people in harm's way. Didn't care for that. I asked about it before ours got pumped out. Army Corps and engineers, it's not gonna happen. Well, it did. Ever since then, Chief Hicks gave it over back to Washoe County. We haven't seen any progress. I don't know what else to do. I'm still fighting with my insurance companies. I'm still coming to these meetings. I'm tired of coming. I know you guys are tired of listening to me, but I'm going to be here until something gets done. I'm sorry for you guys. I'm sorry for myself and my community. But like Donna said, and I've asked you guys before, come out to my house. I'll take you around the Stead, Silver Lake, Peavine, Golden Valley, my area, and I'll show you what we're frustrated about. I'm tired. 38 years out there, and honest to God, the biggest improvement we got in 38 years was our roads paved. And a lot of us didn't want that. A block up, there's 6 acres of land that should have been a park back in the 70s. Still not there. So you can see where our frustration comes in. And if you want to see more of it, come on out. I invite you guys for the day. I'll even cook lunch for you.
Thank you, Mr. Cleus. Ms. Tammy, hold still.
Tammy Holt, still for the record. One of the things that I heard in last meeting is that the non-affected residents are complaining. I'd like to state for the record that I have addressed the issues that are not being addressed. I have also given you ideas to move forward. I'm still giving you ideas to move forward. I sat all day on the computer yesterday after speaking with somebody to teach me how to find federal grants to assist Washoe County's money woes that you guys are using as your reason for not assisting the Libin Valley flooded residents and also the other, the Silver Knolls, or not Silver Knolls, but Osage residents, okay? There's a lot of things that can be done by directing your staff to find the grants to serve the needs of your public constituents that you are representing. And that's what I've been asking all along, is for you as the board to pick up the pace and move things along. I'm doing what I can do on my end, and I am affected as a resident even though I did not have water around my home. The cost of the value of my home has dropped. I have to drive the long way around. It stresses me out to see my residents down the street in the situation that they're in. So I am affected also. So we want to work with the board. I have even been working with nonprofit people, volunteers, trying to help the residents with mucking out their homes. What else is there out there? There's, I found that grant that you, the board, should have been saying, hey, this is out there. There's been pamphlets that were given to one resident who was non-affected that said it was supposed to go to the residents, be mailed out in April. Those residents have never seen that. We ended up emailing it out to them so that they had this packet that Washoe County was going to mail. So the ball's been dropped and we're trying to help you pick it up. And the way that we've been treated at times, I do not appreciate. I'm trying to do the right thing for them. I'm trying to help you, and that's where it stands at the current time, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Ms. Holstill. Seeing no further public comment, we'll bring it back to the board. We were on to our final agenda item, managers and commissioners announcements. Mr. Manager.
Mr. Chair, this is county manager announcements, commissioner announcements, reports, updates, requests for information, or topics for future agendas, and I have nothing.
I have nothing. Nothing? Oh, Mr. Commissioner Hartung.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was looking through our requests, and we were going to change, look at what the laws were to sell copper wire in Washoe County, and I didn't see, because of theft of copper wire, and then they take it to salvage companies and without any documentation, and so we were looking at that, and I didn't see that. I know Commissioner Jung and I both asked for some type of documentation on the current codes that are in place and potentially the policies and codes that we could change. So that was one thing. And then I don't know who we have on staff. We had a number of years ago an issue with our insurance provider. This had to do with health insurance, but I believe that the Insurance Commission, the Nevada Insurance Commission, can intervene, and so I don't know who we have on staff who can potentially assist with putting some of the residents who are having problems with their insurance companies in touch with the Nevada Insurance Commission, because that's really who oversees insurance in Nevada. I don't know whether it's just health or whether it is also issues that you may have, and maybe Mr. Watsfield knows the answer to that, issues that you may have with your homeowner's insurance or automobile insurance when there's issues, they almost subrogate between the insurance company and, I don't know whether that's the right word, intervene is probably the better word, between the two. And I know they helped us tremendously when we had some issues with our insurance company. So I don't know whether there's something that we can assist with from that perspective. And then I know, and maybe we can bring this back at some point in the not too distant future, we were looking at the FEMA loans, the low-cost FEMA loans, and so I don't know where we are on that. And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Hartung. All right, seeing no further announcements, we are adjourned.